Welcome to all the classic car enthusiasts. So Amir left yesterday, so I'm here on my own for about 2 weeks, but trying to get things done. Today I've been working on the XK, as you're going to see. Managed to get the engine turned over, blew all the cylinder out because there was some swarf and bits and pieces in it, and got the engine running only for a few seconds because I had to spray atomised fuel into it. So in the morning I'm going to actually build a pump system so that it pumps straight up to the carburetor, so it will run better and I can do the timing. So in the video you're about to see, it's just basically setting it up for hot wiring it. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make up a system so I can, because they're both the same car, I'm trying to make up a system where I can just take it from one car to the other very quickly. And I have to make, for instance, a complete steel bar which I'll need to weld up to hold up the steering column. The object of the exercise basically is to get them running as a running chassis, so all the cabling for the pumps, for the lights, all that kind of stuff will be attached to the chassis, and then when the bodies are painted, then we can use a crane in Stocker, our big 10-ton overhead crane, and we can put the bodies back on. But I obviously want to get them all running, make sure the suspension's correct. I can take them and get the steering geometry done, making sure that the camber's correct, the toe in, toe out's correct, the KPI, the kingpin inclination, all this kind of stuff. But I need to be able to drive it around, so I'm basically, like I said in the video, I'm looking for a place now where I can use some tarmac to do that, but it has to be on private ground. Obviously it would be illegal to drive a chassis on the main road. What I want to say is, this morning I got a post from Randy in Texas, which is really nice, and he sent me some really nice gifts, and I want to show you them now. So what he sent me was he's made some stickers up for me, and you can see that this is one of the stickers. He had it on his jig and I really like them, and I'm going to put these up. So he made a big one like this, and then a smaller size like that. Hopefully you can see it. And then he's done me little ones to go into the window of the car, which I think is great. In fact, I'm seriously considering having a t-shirt made up with that on. I think that'd be quite classic. But what he also did was he sent me a bunch with the same thing, but with Jaguar on it for the E-Type and the XKs. I'll just probably put them in the front window or a side window. So thank you so much, Randy, for that. I really appreciate it. And he sent me a lovely handwritten, which is unusual these days. People rarely handwrite things, but he's written me a really nice letter, and it says, "Hope you can make use of these stickers. I do appreciate all your videos, even though I've not had a chance to watch them all yet." Good luck with that, Randy, because it would take quite a lot of time. I do hope your surgery goes well. Thank you very much for that, and I'm sure there'll be no issues. My blood pressure's gone down from something like 190 to 141, I think, over the sheer worry of it, and now I realise that things are going to be okay. It's gone down dramatically, so thank you. And also what he sent to me as well was a Lone Star, which is Texas, and obviously this is the shape of Texas in the USA, and you can see it's a key ring, and then it's got on the back all what the bird is. I think what does it say? The size of Texas is 268,601 miles. That's square kilometers, square miles, I would imagine. The flower is the bluebonnet, which I thought it was the yellow rose of Texas, but there you go. And the bird is the mockingbird, and the capital is Austin, Texas. So thank you so much for that. That will go in the, I think I'll put that on my Mini. Thank you very much for that. And in return, I'd like you to drop me an email and give me your t-shirt size, and I will get Martin from Resto Restore, that does all my t-shirts, and get him to send you one out. But please don't do like Mini Tom did and wear it for welding. Bad boy Tom. So anyway, thank you so much for that. Enjoy the video, and please watch in tomorrow when we crank her up and see how she actually sounds with the exhaust on it. Bye for now, take care. So there's the E-Type covered up with its own Union jack. You can't have a Jaguar without a Union jack on it. They're really nice, these covers. They're kind of like terry toweling. They're really nice. Well, not terry toweling, but they're felt like. Okay, just to bring you up to date, I've got the battery on charge at the moment, and we've been doing some tests today. We've got the engine turned over, and she started, or kicked anyway. So you can see I've just got it. These are really good, these C-Tech battery chargers, and the nice thing about them is they're good for classic cars because you can leave them just ticking over, and they won't put any more power in than is needed. So you can see this is a pre-engaged starter motor from an E-Type. You see how big and bulky it is, really heavy. And this is one from an XK. The spring is missing off the front. There's a spring goes on here, which is quite heavy too. And the starters I put into these XKs, I put into my one, and then we'll do Johan's, is this type of starter here. And this is a high torque. This is a high torque starter, and you can see how much. I'll take it over, in fact, and show you. But you can see how much smaller this is than the originals. As I said, this won't fit into a 3.4 engine because the bell housing is slightly different. This is much bigger mouth on it. That was from the E-Type. And this is the one that was in the XK, an old Bendix style one where it's actually throwing the Bendix forward into the ring gear, which is what smashes the ring gear teeth. These are pre-engaged starter motors, so they're engaged on the teeth, and then when you release, this is being shot forward. So you can see the difference. It's quite a lot. The difference, certainly difference in weight compared to that. That is seriously heavy. It's got to be 2.5 times the weight of that. But they're high torque. The motor is up here on the top, and it's got a reduction gear inside it, but they're great. They really are good, particularly with a new engine where with any engine that's rebuilt, the engine's going to be tight. It's a matter of fact when you put them together, because the tolerances are tight until they're run in. So when you're turning over an engine like this, you need either a very good battery or a very good starter. And I've had one in my E-Type now for around about, I don't know, 5 years, and they're a great bit of kit. Anyway, so to let you know what's going on, you can see we've just hot wired it up basically. We've put a gauge on here. This is one of the old oil gauges. It's not running particularly well, but at least it shows. And I've got the electronic ignition in it. I've just put the coil on the side there, just for now, so it's not in the way. All I want to do is better start it for 30 seconds, just make sure it runs. And then we've put a solenoid down here, which you don't actually need to start. This has got the push button solenoid type. You don't actually need that because you have a solenoid inside the starter. And then we turned her over. Oil pressure's really good, up to 50-60 psi. This gauge is not working particularly well. The second one I'd largely go up to 20, but these are being replaced anyway in the dash. So tomorrow, once this is full, what I'm going to do now is, you can see this obviously is a triple carburetor, so what I'll do tomorrow is I'll make up a hose line from here with a petrol pump into a canister so we can run the engine, because we did it just by atomizing fuel in, and she kicked and ran for a few seconds. But they use a lot of juice, these vehicles, so especially with the XK engines, they're very juicy cars, and it's almost impossible to keep them going, and especially if you use something like this, one of these spray type bottles, because as soon as you put benzene in or petrol into a spray, let's see if I can find one, the spray type top like this, you can buy these for garden stuff. But what happens is it swells all the valves and all the things inside, and once it just stops spraying because they get gummed up. It just ruins the benzene ruins. So if you can put WD-40 through them, you know, no problem. But put anything else and it will just screw them up. All the seals just get ruined very, very quickly. Anyway, so as I say, once that battery is charged tomorrow, if you look in tomorrow night, you'll see her running. We'll only run it for about 30 seconds or so. Once I've got it running, what I'll then do is put the radiator, all the hoses, everything on, and get it so that we can actually get it to a point where we could drive the chassis around. So what I have to do then is actually make some kind of bar to go over here, which will hold the steering wheel up, so we can at least steer it. So what I'm trying to do now is find a place where it's private ground, but where it's flat and tarmac, but we can use to test it, to reset up the suspension, check for any rattles or problems or bits and pieces. But I want it fairly close to here. I obviously don't want to trailer the chassis for, you know, kilometres and kilometres or miles and miles. I want something fairly close. And I know of a place where a factory's shut down, so I'm going to see if it's possible to do that. And we'll just put a box on here or something. You can see the pedals, they're not actually thinking up yet, but you can see the pedals are already ready to go. The idea is that I can make you know, a small loom to get it started, or a small wiring system, hot wire it, and actually to be able to drive the vehicle, or to drive the chassis and the engine and gearbox and so on, and then easily be able to put it over onto this one, because obviously I don't want to make two. It's for a test. I mean, there's no point making two sets. So tomorrow I'll make up the bar that goes across here. We'll get the engine started for you so you can hear it running. And she's already, we turned it over a lot before we started to make sure the oil pressure was good. We actually took the gauge off and made the oil come through the line so it was filled, and then put the gauge back on, and then we've got good oil pressure now. Everything's good. The only downside is that unfortunately, for some reason, the dipsticks are missing. I know they're full of oil because I've checked, but the dipstick from this, the 4.2, won't go into it. So I'm going to have to order a couple of dipsticks. They were probably buggered anyway, but they've obviously been left at the place that did the engine work. So anyway, and I'm pretty sure they were pretty corroded, but I'll have a look upstairs and check. Anyway, so that's it. So an update for tonight. Engine starts, runs. I say only run for 5 seconds or so because it's very hard to get the fuel in. But once the fuel's on tomorrow and being pushed in, I'm pretty sure it'll run quite sweet. And then we can set up the distributor, set up the timing properly, and hopefully you'll look in tomorrow and hear it running, see what it sounds like. So, as usual, stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby, and bye for now. Till tomorrow. Bye.